Welcome to the Dutch and Denver podcast. Another one. We're still going. Kind of a somber day today for a lot of us, and I hope for everyone who listens to this. If you haven't heard the news, you've clearly been living under a rock, but Maha Rushi, El Rushbo, he passed away today, and it's been impactful. I haven't cried. Maybe in private, but um, it's been a tough day today. Rush Limbaugh has passed away, and I just starting out in this and not being the orator that he was. I don't know what words to say other than he was a defining character, or he was a defining man of the conservative side. I've listened to Rush for, I'm pretty sure, my entire life. Even before I was able to comprehend what the man was saying, I'm relatively positive my father, who is a ditto head, those are the original Rush listeners, played in the car when we went somewhere. I listened to Rush. And then as I got older, I am a Rush baby. I've listened to Rush again since the day I was born, since as long as I can remember. I think he went on in '88, so I was a couple years old, two, three, four, when he actually went on national radio. And I've listened to him ever since. I mean, the man was an icon. He was he was the voice for the conservatives that win, and we still don't have one, but I, I know I'm rambling here, but he was Rush Limbaugh. There's nothing else to say. The man was a genius. He was a god. Not a real god, but you know what I mean. And his famous line, talent on loan from God. I think he understood that, and I think he personified that. And I think it's important that, love him or hate him, you still respected what he did. The man, he's almost too big to describe. And I don't want to get sentimental on this because we're going to start ripping into people real soon. But rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh. Now, Rushbo, Maha Rushi. I loved that man. I mean, I love my dad and brother, in a different way, but I loved Rush Limbaugh, and he loved us, his listeners. And it's important to make that point. Um, I think it's all. I mean, I'll get more sentimental about it, but let's just. We lost a legend today. And the right is sad. The left took it as a giant opportunity. And mind you, the party of unity and tolerance took it upon themselves to shit all over a dead man. Which just proves again what kind of scumbags they really are. And I I've been looking for left leaning friends of mine to come on and talk. Kyle's done it, and he's not a shit eater who's gonna crap on Limbaugh. I mean, he might. I'm not even sure he knows Limbaugh's dead. But if anybody on the left that would like to chime in, I'd love to hear it. Because there's no defensible stance you can take against Limbaugh. Now, again, people will say, oh, he's such a horrible person because he said, there's like snow White House cat, but did you know there was a White House dog? And it was a picture of Chelsea Clinton when she was 13. Maybe in bad taste, but funny. I'm not going to lie, I thought it was funny. I still think it's kind of funny. Because if you knew if you know what she grew up to be, yeah, she's a left-wing whack job who is part of the Clinton crime family. So he wasn't in bad taste for that. I'm sure you all have many, many reasons why Rush is horrible. And I'm just here to tell you, you're wrong. The guy was. He made talk radio. He created it for the for any side that wasn't the left. And he was a pioneer. He was just, again, I can't put into words. Again, I've been drinking heavily today. The weather, we'll get into all that, and it's just, this might be a little incoherent, but bear with me. I love Rushy. I think he did a fantastic job. I listen to the man religiously. I even I've been going to PT for the past 6 months, and I'm debating whether to discuss this, and I think I will, but let's just bypass that now. But I've been going to PT for 6 months, and I make my appointments at X time, so when I'm finished, I can hop in the car and I can turn on Rush, and I can make the 45-minute drive home to listen to Rush right before he makes his hourly exit, and then I can pick him up at home on the interwebs. And today really struck a chord when, you heard that Pretender song that we all know. Yeah. If you don't know it, fuck you. But we heard it, and then usually the announcer says, and filling in for Rush is Mark Stein, which I love Mark, or someone else, because we all know Rush has been dealing with lung cancer for the past year or so. So he's had some guest hosts, he's done it himself, but the man's trooped through. And usually we're waiting for, the Pretender song, and it says, now filling in for Rush is blah, 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 blah. But I didn't get that today. The song played longer than it normally does, and the announcer came on and said, here's Catherine Limbaugh. And you knew. I knew. I knew what she was going to say. And it was tough. Rush he hasn't defined me as a person, but he's been a big influence for all my time here, 35 years. Why I vote the way I do, I think the way I do, and I wasn't washed by Rush. Because there's tons of people who were like, I was liberal and I listened to Rush, and it turns out he wasn't crazy. He was right. He didn't ever just berate you into believing what he thought. He laid out a logical, intelligent argument to being a conservative. And I think a lot of people have converted from liberal to conservative because of Rush. I don't think anyone's ever gone from conservative to liberal because of Rush, or because of anyone other than they're fucking crazy. And it was tough to hear her say that stuff. And then I had to go shopping and stuff, so I missed the cuts and stuff. But I heard everything his wife had to say, and it was touching, it was heartbreaking, it was everything. It was, and I'm not someone who, like, if a celebrity dies, I'm cry and crushed over it. I don't care if someone dies that I don't know, and I didn't know Rush Limbaugh, but that one struck a chord. Yeah, it was tough. What was even tougher is getting on social media, on Twitter. I only did Twitter. Fuck Facebook or any of the other ones. I know they're all the same. I'm not involved with those. But to get on there and see the hatred for a dead man. And I always taught that, never speak ill of the dead. Apparently the left was never taught that, unless, nope, they just never were. These are evil people. I've been saying this, and the irony of all this is what Rush has been telling us for 30 years, or 30 years plus, about the left. they solidified today. These people are fucking crazy. And that's it. It's nuts to me that the hatred they have for this man and that they would say it on the date of his death. So, there's been some prominent liberals who have died in my lifetime, and I haven't said anything. Just nothing. I didn't have anything good or bad to say. I just didn't say anything because I'm not a fucking whack job. You know, when Ted Kennedy died, he didn't do some great things. That's the most recent. He wasn't a pillar of, whatever. I just didn't say anything. I'm sorry he died. I hope his family finds peace, and I hope he finds peace. But I didn't shit all over the man. But the tolerant left thought today would be a perfect day to shit all over Rush Limbaugh. And coming from the party of unity and tolerance, and you don't see it. That's what I don't understand is how people on the left still don't see the double standard. You know, the conservatives just bend over and take it. Actually, more to the Republican Party just bends over and takes it. And move on. It's okay. But you just shit on a dead man all day and people like pile it. Like, someone actually, or not someone, but I'm sure it was someone started this, but there was a trending topic today that was rest in piss. Fuck you, you dirty scumbag piece of shit. If you use that hashtag today, you're a scumbag and you deserve to go to hell. Rush Limbaugh never showed malice, and I understand if you didn't get his humor or sarcasm, it just meant you were stupid. But he wasn't malicious towards anyone in the way, and I know a lot of you, and I hope you do. I hope if you are a liberal who listens to this, and a crazy liberal, I hope you tweet me at Dutch the Beast, and you show me clear evidence of when Rush Limbaugh was malicious, hatefully malicious towards anyone. Because I've got 10 billion examples of it today where you guys pissed on a man's grave. Like the shitheads that you are. And I'm going to lump all of you on it because you know what? If the guy next to you in the same group is doing it and you don't stand up and say, hey, you know what, man? Probably not the best idea. And you just let it happen, that not only makes you a coward, but you're just as big as a piece of shit as he is. And it was a little bit hurtful today that people would pile on like that. We gotta, I just, R.I.P. Rush, I love you, buddy. Rest in peace. I always will. But we gotta move on. It'll get too angry and boring. If we want to talk more about Rush, we can. When I'm a little bit more composed, I think it'll come. But we can talk about other things that are happening. So now we're going to get super serious. We're going to have an explanation from Dutch. And if you don't understand this, listen, because I'll explain it to you. So let's start with the rumor of the student loan debt forgiveness. It will happen. I think that this is one of their goals is to forgive student loan debt. And the reason that they're able to do that is because the federal government has monopolized student loans. So most of the student loans go through the federal government and they're able to forgive this debt. Now, we're not sure whether they're going to forgive all your debt, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, it doesn't matter. Do you understand that if the federal government forgives your student loan debt, we have a couple of issues. Number one is it will be added to the national debt because they're still going to pay it. They're just not going to make you do it. Well, they're going to indirectly make you not do it. I'm still going to have to pay for it because it'll be added to the debt, which taxes will collect, blah, blah, blah. I hope you understand that. If you don't, I will try and explain it. If we forgive the debt, we will add another 2 trillion maybe to the deficit on top of the other 2 trillion that we're going to do for a stimulus package on top of the four that we have. So we'll be at 8 trillion. And who pays our debts? Taxpayers. Do you understand that? I'm not sure everyone does. Secondly, I went to college. I had a degree, or I got a degree. I paid my student loans back. I That's kind of what you do when you take out a loan is you agree to pay it back with interest, and that's how it works. What about me? I I paid my loans back. I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I agreed to do under a contract. And for everyone to get their loans forgiven, fuck you. I, no, seriously, fuck you. Just because you thought you were going to go get a degree in gender studies and that's worth dick all, and now you can't get a job or you can't pay. That's not my fucking fault that you planned poorly. I didn't plan poorly. And I paid back the money that I owned because I'm a responsible person. And if you didn't, fuck you. And you need to pay the consequences for that. Literally pay the consequences. Pay the money back that you owe. And not add to the deficit. And it's crazy that people actually think that this is a viable option that should be explored. No, it's not. You agree to pay the money back. Pay the fucking money back. End of story. Do you want your car loan forgiven? That's a stupid question. Of course you do. You're dumb shit. Oh Christ. Oh, moving. We'll just go with and we'll continue on this with simple economics. A ton of talk about raising the minimum wage or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, this is going to be a lesson in economics from Dutch. I don't think it's going to be wrong, but there might be a couple things. And, again, find me on the Twitter or whatever the fuck you want to do, and you can shit all over this. But let me explain to you how the economy works in reference to minimum wage. So if you want to pay someone at Burger King $15 an hour to flip burgers, Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Barfo Bell, whatever, $15 an hour to flip burgers, fry fries, make tacos, whatever. Do you understand that that burger will be $15 instead of $7 now? So it's a wash. The actual dollar figure of money is 100% completely irrelevant. There's no difference between a burger costing $1,000 and a burger costing $1. It's just the price of other things relative to that will change. So, if we have burgers, if we have minimum wage at $15 and a burger is now $15, that means that your $200,000 house will now be $400,000 house. And your $3 loaf of bread will now be $6 loaf of bread. I mean, do you understand that concept that the actual number doesn't matter, it's the value. So, for instance, and this is a drastic exaggeration or hyperbole, but if a loaf of bread costs 1/10 of 1 cent and a house costs $5, it doesn't matter. It's the value of that money. So you could pay a fast food worker $25,000 an hour, but the burger will cost $50,000, and your house will cost 10 trillion. So it doesn't matter what the actual number is. It's value. And the way I see it is we should get rid of minimum wage. We should get rid of all this crap. and just start with you work for what you will work for. So, for instance, let's use, we'll go back to flipping burgers. So, we'll say McDonald's says, look, I want to hire a burger flipper for 1 penny. And if no one is willing to work for 1 penny, they have to raise it. And they'll say, okay, 2 pennies. And no one's willing to work for 2 pennies. So they have to raise it to 3 pennies. And now people are willing to work for 3 pennies. So the people work for 3 pennies, and it turns out that they get 9 pennies a week, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Like, the numbers don't matter, but they get X dollars a week or X pennies a week. But it turns out that they can't afford a house at that price. And if everyone in the market is making that value percentage or whatever, that value, and no one buys houses, the price of houses will come down because they still have to sell houses. So now your house, instead of being $9, is going to be $1. So then the people who are making the 9 pennies a week can get a mortgage and they can afford the $1 house. And the economy has corrected itself. Now everybody's going to say, but Dutch, we can't all just flip burgers. Well, of course we can't all flip burgers. But if your education level is that of flipping burgers, that's your fault. It's not mine, or it's not the government's. It's not anybody's, but yours. Minimum skills, minimum wage, minimum whatever. Oh, but you don't have access. We can get into education reform later, and that goes back to the student debt thing, that the government has federalized student loans and they basically give it to everybody at no price. So colleges can charge whatever they want and the government will pay for it, and the consumer is saddled with the debt, and it doesn't matter because fuck them. That's not the way that this works. It's like the medical thing, and we'll get into this later because I've listened to another talk show host, Manny Connell, who is talking about socialized medicine, and I think this is an important point. Uh, but it's not for this podcast because it's not extremely complex, but it needs to be articulated in a way that you all can understand. And I'm not saying that you can't. I just would like to present it in a better way than me being shit-faced hammered. But again, like simple economics, like the market will dictate what minimum wage is. The government doesn't need to. And unfortunately, some people are going to have to suffer for a little bit, but eventually the market will correct itself. Capitalism will correct itself. And, the price of what you actually need will come down compared to what you're making. Or what you're making will come up to the price of what you need, because that's the decision that you make that says, I can't work for 3 pennies. I can work for 6, and then you agree to work for 6. We don't need the government to dictate what you'll work for. You work for what you want to work for. We can bring illegal immigrants into this, and it'll get even more muddy, and that'll be an immigration talk. But again, this was a simple economics discussion where it's just like, work for what you're worth, and then what you're worth, if you get paid that, you can use it in turn to purchase things adequate to what you're worth. Again, if you flip burgers at McDonald's, the chances of you owning a 5,000 square foot home in, say, Denver is none. But that job doesn't, you don't deserve that with that job. I don't think flipping burgers at McDonald's is not a career. And don't get me wrong, if you start out flipping burgers, good for you, because you will move up. McDonald's is a very good company about moving up, providing education and skills for their employees. But, if you're 50 and still flipping burgers, that's on you, brother. You fucked up, or sister. You messed up somewhere, and that is what you deserve. You deserve a burger flipper house. You don't deserve a lawyer house. Those guys went to school, they spent a fuckload of money, and they worked hard and blah blah blah. You no, or an entrepreneur. You don't deserve that. And for the government to step in and be like, well, we're all equal. Fuck with that. We're not all equal, unfortunately. No, fortunately, we're not all equal. That's competition breeds excellence. And that can go into our social medicine thing that how America is so far and ahead beyond in the medical field. It's not even fucking funny. And if you disagree with that, you're stupid. I don't even want to hear from you because you're a moron. Capitalism has driven the medical field into the stratosphere of perfection, and it's not perfect, so don't quote me on that, but capitalism has driven the medical field into places we never thought it would be. You think communism paying doctors the same as a trash man? Not that that's not a good job. It's just you think paying them the same would have gotten us the same results as we have now? The same developments in modern medicine? Of course not. And if you do, you're stupid, and I can't help you. I can help willing to learn. That's the new title. I can't help stupid. You can't fix stupid. So we covered simple economics. Also, I am back from vacation, like permanently now. Not permanently, I'll go on vacation again. But I did make it back up to the mountains. The trip up wasn't as bad. Trip back wasn't as bad as the first time, but still equally bad. I don't want. It's not that I don't want it, it's that I can't stand people from other states. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so if you're not from here, don't drive in snowstorms. Just stay the fuck home. Um, so today, yeah, a little sidetrack, but my dog Bo, who's a beautiful black lab, we might post some pictures of him, but Bo's awesome. He's Bo too, actually. Once a week he goes to like doggy daycare, like dog camp, and he gets to play with his friends and do things, and it tires him out, and it's fun. Back when we always used to work and things like that, and he goes to doggy daycare. So I'm picking Bo up today, and where I live, we got a lot of snow in a very short amount of time. We had 3 to 4 inches in less than an hour, and I'm driving to pick up Bo, and we're whiteout conditions. I've lived here, so I have four-wheel drive, I have good tires, and I'm not fucking retarded. So I made it to Bo. On my way to Bo, as we make the turns and start going to this. This is a private residence too. This isn't like one of those conglomerate things. We've had dogs go there before, and it didn't end up well. But there's a car in front of me, and scratch that S. Fuck you. It's better if you don't know. There's a car in front of me that they turn into the residence, and I turn behind them, and they park in the driveway like a complete fucking retard that no one can get in or out. Just unbelievable. And I maneuver around them, and they don't get out of the car, so I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I go up there, I knock on the door, and I wait for the guy to come out and retrieve Bo. And the woman in the car that arrived before me comes out on the phone. She's got the phone up to her head. She's talking to me, the owner, and on the phone. And I say to the proprietor, hey, you guys don't have any snow yet. It's barely snowing here. Back where I live, and he knows where I live, but east of the highway, I mean, it's snowing. I mean, it is snowing. He says, yeah, I heard that. It's. I tell you, I definitely am not going to take this road home because it's a shit show of morons. Well, the woman on the phone hears this, and oh, I should mention, when she got out of her car, she looked like she was going to cry. They just have that look. And when she hears this from me that I'm not going to take this specific road back home, that's when the little tears start streaming down. It's like, what the fuck? And she says, well, if I can't take this road home, how do I get home? It's like, well, I'm going to take this road and that road, which are a different road in a different direction, but still gets you the same place. And she's like, oh my God, where is it? Panicking beyond belief. And it's like, no, you're going to be fine. Just, unless you want to take this road and spend, an hour to 45 minutes for a mile or two with fucking morons. And he's like, oh no, I don't want to. So what do I? And I tell her. And then at the end, and she's still on the phone with what I'm assuming is her husband. And this is the crusher. She ends the call and the conversation with us with, thank God I've got a Subaru. And she had Texas license plates. So let's discuss this a little bit. First of all, if you're from Texas, you need to say fucking Texas, because I've just witnessed one of your people crying at doggy daycare because she didn't want to go home in the snow. You don't belong here. And quite frankly, if you don't know how to drive here, you don't know how to be a Coloradan, fucking go away. You've ruined our state as much as California has. And you're like, well, goddamn it, we're conservative too, and blah, blah. Yeah, but you're a dumb shit. And that's the problem. You're the reason that I 70 is fucked up on ski days. It's because you don't know how to drive. Well, yes, I do. I got me a four-wheel drive. Yeah, but four-wheel drive, yeah, perfect. I can do 80 up the pass. The problem is you can't stop doing 80 down the pass. Fuck. But you'll continue to do this. So, Texas, stay in fucking Texas. California, stay in fucking California. All right? And Subarus are not the end all be all. 99% of the time I'm driving and someone is fucking traffic up and it's a Subaru. It really is. It's, I don't know, their commercials have brainwashed y'all or whatever, but you can't just buy a Subaru and drive like a dipshit. It has all-wheel drive. Get some good tires and go. But of course you're not from here, so you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you're ruining my state, or you've ruined my state. So yeah, she horrible wreck of crying in Subaru. Fuck off, Subarus, Texas, California, all of you. So I take a back way home, kind of. And I take this road it's a dirt road, actually, in between a bunch of paved. I don't live out in the real fucking country, but kind of in the country. And I know this road very well. And you go up the hill and you snake, and then you go up a actual hill. It's pretty steep. And then it levels out and you're all fine. So I'm following this moron in a Hyundai who I have a feeling won't make it. So I drop way, way back. Because they're going to go up the last part of this hill. They're going to get stuck at the top. And chances are they won't be on the left or the right side. They'll fishtail in the center and we're all going to be fucked. This is what I'm thinking. Well, son of a bitch, I watch them go up there and they do the exact thing that I said they were going to do. They literally go up, they make it almost to the top, and instead of stopping, backing up, doing something smart, they just gun it, they fishtail, and they block the road. So now no one can get there. And they're at the crown of the hill, so anyone coming towards is going to smash their front end and fuck them up. And don't get me wrong, it was snowing. There was probably 6 inches of snow on the ground and whiteout conditions. But Dutch, I have to go out in this. If you know you have to go out, be prepared. And this person was ill prepared. So they're stuck up there, and then they finally stop flailing around, and there's enough room for me to go past them. So I go past them. And I didn't stop. And it's not because I'm a shithead, but I didn't have the tow rope. I also have an injury that I wasn't about ready to, fuck around with that. And you're stupid, so you should probably pay for being stupid. And I went home. It's super easy. I took the back way. Again, there's a lot of snow whiteouts, but again, I'm prepared. I have a vehicle that can do it. I have tires that can do it. I'm experienced. I did it. If you're not, fucking stop. You're ruining this for everyone else. Because driving to go get Bo, the dog, I saw my path home and it was already completely fucked up. And it's like, I'm absolutely not doing this because there's stupid people at the bottom of the hills who can't make it up the hills. And just fuck you, stay home. Well, but I have to go to work. I have to... Then be prepared. Get a four-wheel drive vehicle with good tires. Or I have an idea. Don't stop in the middle of a hill and then try and gun your front wheel drive piece of crap up the hill. Take a constant speed and just go up the hill. You won't lose traction, I promise. It's super easy. So that was this afternoon, and then that's when you get home and you start hitting it hard, and that's why this podcast is what it is right now. Um, let's see what else. Oh, speaking of the cold, Texas is fucked. I mean, the South is fucked, and there's a ton of reasons why. Some people are gonna blame fossil fuels. Some are gonna blame renewable. I'm not gonna blame anyone but the Texas infrastructure. Like, how do you fuck this up? Yeah, well, it only happens every 75 years. Well, yeah, now people are dying. Probably should have thought about that, dumb shit. What I will talk about is the renewable or the green clean energy that I saw in posts on the internet of frozen windmills where there's a lot of wind energy in Texas. And if you don't believe that or you think, well, you're stupid again. But there's a frozen windmill and there's a helicopter running on petroleum products de-icing this frozen windmill with petroleum products. So eliminating petroleum products is again a dumb fucking idea. I'm all for coming up with a new idea, and I have the new idea. We all do. It's nuclear. It's clean. It's safe. It's blah blah. But for whatever reason, nobody wants to do it. But let's face facts. Wind and solar energy aren't the answer. They're not efficient enough right now to provide the energy that we need. How do you think you make a windmill? You think all that stuff's completely devoid of petroleum? Fuck no, it's not. Also, I see him driving the blades down the highway in a diesel run pickup truck. Petroleum. Or on a train that runs on diesel. Petroleum. All this stuff. What do you think the truck's made out of? Plastic, steel, petroleum products. They make so much more than gas and oil. It's literally everything you use comes from petroleum. And like I said, Kyle and I discussed this earlier. It's a natural thing that when used pollutes the environment is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. That'd be like saying, hey, I only eat organic, which is natural, and by me or eating organic is actually causing me and the environment to die. You're stupid, and that's not a thing. I do feel bad for the people in Texas though who are unprepared. I also think that you should be a little bit prepared. Once in a million years, shit. Yeah, you should prepare for once in a million or one in a million. You should prepare for one in a billion. Um, I also, because I'm not entirely sure, because everyone's saying that, oh, well, the natural gas was diverted to power plants instead of homes, and the power plants couldn't deliver electricity because the ice storms and stuff crashed. And that's, again, on Texas to just give them the natural gas, because even if you have a natural gas stove, you can light that with, like, a Bic lighter. You don't need your stove to ignite it. There's also ways to light your furnace if it's a natural gas furnace without electricity. Like it's a mechanical thing. The electricity turns the mechanical valve to let the gas through, and then once the gas is through, you ignite it with your Bic lighter or whatever. And I mean, there are ways around it. I do feel bad for them, but I also don't feel bad because they've rammed down this green energy shit that actually doesn't work. And then you have, Biden's ginger up there saying, well, it was actually the failure of natural gas and oil. Yeah, fine. Then your infrastructure's fucked. Either way, it's someone's fault. And if it's the government's fault, it's also your fault for depending on the government. Don't depend on these fuckers for anything. And I don't understand why everyone keeps depending on them for shit. They're not good at anything. They do a terrible job of everything. Stop depending on the. Yeah, buy yourself a jet. Oh, I can't afford a jet. I'm sorry, man. Shit. Buy yourself stashes. Well, I can't. Sorry, you can't do fucking better in life, and then you can prepare for this. Well, it's never done this in 50 or 75 years. Okay, yeah, fine. I yeah, I understand it hasn't done it in 50 or 75 years, but when it does do it, and now you're fucked and you're crying about it, I feel bad, but part of this is self-reliance, self-responsibility. You know, and it could even come down to as crazy as you probably should have voted for better people. I feel like you voted for dumb fucks in Texas. Let's see. Oh, Biden, Jesus Christ. I don't understand how people can still be on this bandwagon. So, Biden had a town hall last night, I think. And let's start. I don't know if this was first or second, but Biden said that, you know, before we took office, we didn't have vaccines, and now we do. There were vaccines before Biden took office. That's just a fact. Now, is Biden lying, or did he misspeak? Of course he's not lying, because nobody's going to call him out on that. He might have misspoke. It's another gaffe. Do you want a walking gaffe to be your president? Clearly, because a fuckload of you voted for him, and God, you're fucking stupid, and I feel bad for you. I'm not angry. I am angry, but I'm not angry at you. I feel bad for you that you thought that this was a better option than what might go down as the greatest president ever. So Biden says, there was no vaccines prior to me taking office, when there actually was, and then he talks about a vaccinator, very, very adamant about getting that OR out there as a way to administer. But it's a little thing like that. Is he a lying or is it a gaffe? No one's going to cover that. He also said, it's almost, I don't know how to, I'll paraphrase a little bit, but not much. I think he said that the blacks and the brown people, black people and brown people, are having trouble getting on this COVID vaccine list because they just don't know how to use the internet. Now, you can take this a couple ways. You can say that they don't know how to use the internet because they don't have the internet, because this country is racist and they don't give it to black and brown people. Or you could go with the logical step that has been proven time and time again, that Biden literally said black and brown people are too stupid to use the internet. But don't worry, we'll find some way to defend him, some way to make this okay. But could you imagine if Trump said that? Could you? I really think that it might have been the end of days. Trump said, I don't think he said anything as stupid as that. Like, brown and black people are too dumb to use the internet. That's what Joe Biden said. And I know you all make circus rings like, well, wait a minute. No, that's what the man said. He also said we didn't have vaccines before the inauguration, which he did. So is he lying or just a gaffe? He's a gaffe. The man's a walking gaffe. And you all voted for an old man with dementia. just because you hated Trump for no fucking reason. And again, we're back to liberals are stupid. It's a mental disorder to believe that crap. Oh, jeez. Where else do we... So, stupid tweets this week isn't going to happen. If you want to find stupid tweets, just anything about Rush. I mean, I want to kind of rename it hurtful. What people are saying about Rush Limbaugh is... no, not what people... What the left is saying. The tolerant left. It's shame. It's not shameful. These people feel no shame. It's just bad. I mean, there's a couple stupid tweets I could talk about. We talk about the AOC thing that's finally come out that she wasn't even in the Capitol riots, and her Instagram, her 90-minute Instagram, was just lying. But that'll never be covered. She might have feared they might have made it over to her. So it's not lying. It's just a different interpretation of truth. That's probably a pretty good answer for it. Let's see. Oh yeah, so stupid tweets. Whoever the ginger is, who's Biden's press chick, fuck me. Again, no answers. The stimulus package for $2 trillion. The small business. Have you guys seen this small business tweet where somebody asked what has Biden done for small business, and her answer is, well, first of all, he appointed a woman secretary of small. That doesn't stop making man, woman, gay, straight, queer, brown, purple, green, tall, short, fat, skinny. None of that matters, and I don't understand why the left doesn't get that. Oh no, because that's who they pander to. God damn it, Dutch. You should know this. Okay. I don't give a fuck if you are man, woman, dog, chicken, fat, short, tall. I just want the best person for the job. That's it. That's all I care about is qualifications. I mean, if a woman is as good a quarterback as John Elway was, well, fuck me, let her play. But if she's not, you can't lower the standards to let her play. And just hiring a woman, and I talk radio all day. There's a guy who's on in the afternoon that I think I hate listening to him. And I don't want to say him because he's a self-righteous piece of shit attorney who he'd probably find this podcast and sue me over it. But they were talking about replacements for Rush. Let's be clear, there will be no replacement for Rush. You can't do it. It won't happen. But they brought up a female, and this personality said it's a good choice, A, because she's a woman. If that's your first option for hiring, doing anything, other than I'm a guy and I want a girlfriend, yeah, you're fucking right. My first criteria is she's a woman. In any other thing, that should not be a criteria at all. I want to hire a plumber. What's the first question you ask yourself? I want a good plumber. Nobody says I want a black plumber, a Mexican plumber, or a woman. You just want a good one. And if it just so happens that the best plumber in your area is a female, then yes, hire her and get the best plumber you can. Doctors. When you're Googling your doctors, usually you don't get a Google anymore, but do you Google best female doctor? No, let's narrow it down. Even for me, I'm into neurosurgery right now. I have some neurosurgeons I've been speaking with. When I research neurosurgeons or ask for a referral from my surgeon or anybody else, I didn't say give me the best female neurosurgeon. I just want the best neurosurgeon. I don't fucking care if it's a monkey. I want the best neurosurgeon. And to categorize people like female neurosurgeon, male, Indian, Mexican, black neurosurgeon, fuck that. Just be the best neurosurgeon. It doesn't matter what gender or race you are. And stop. Oh, but we have to play identity politics because we're the left, and that's the only thing that we're good at. Do you understand that by them saying that we need more women, firefighters, police, blah, 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 we need more black lawyers, Mexican, they are marginalizing you. And we actually don't need more of them because the minorities only make up 20% of the population if you're black. So you should only be 20% of the workforce of lawyers or doctors, whatever. That's statistics. You can't argue with that. Oh shit. The is it San Francisco? It might be. So the San Francisco Board of Education or teachers union or and by the way, fuck those teachers unions. Yeah, we can talk. Okay, education. I got a second win. We can do this. So, we are. I don't think we're in a pandemic, but they tell us we're still in a pandemic, and you know my feelings about this. I think this has been blown out of proportion. If you got it, I'm sorry. If you didn't, I'm sorry too. Your life has been fucked. We don't stop the world for this, but the teachers unions are holding children hostage over this pandemic. Those are quotes for you guys listening on the podcast. Um, we're coming up on the year anniversary of 14 days to flatten the curve. So now we're just on a year of fuck us in the ass. We have ruined an entire generation of children. I mean, our future, we have literally fucked. Think about this. You're little Johnny and you're 5 years old and your first day of kindergarten starts this year or last year. I don't fucking care. And you go up to school and you've never been to school before. This is your first day at school. And you go to school and your teacher greets you. And this is for the teachers that are still working. So this is a charter or a private school. This sure as fuck is in a public school, which we'll get into. But you walk up there and your teacher greets you with a mask over her face. And she says, "Hello, little Johnny, how are you doing? And welcome to the game." What did little Johnny hear? Oh, Johnny, welcome to your first day. That's what little Johnny heard. His first interaction in school, which is theoretically a defining moment of his entire life for the next 12 years, is going to be some muffled voice and you can't hear it all. And a faceless teacher. And then they strap a mask to little Johnny and all of his classmates. And you can't see him smile, you can't see him laugh, you can't see him cry or grin or frown when anything happens. You're just a faceless entity taught by a faceless entity muffled under this. And that is the defining moments, the beginning of this kid's education that's supposed to send him to $1 million college that later will be forgiven when he gets a humanities degree and is fucked for the rest of his life. There's no the fact that some people don't see this is baffling to me, and I mean it's entertaining because I'm gonna be all right, but I feel bad for a little bit because you have been misled, and it's horrible. But so that's it. We did the whole thing about the mom scaring the fuck out of her kids. So mom and dad have scared you. Teacher has scared you. Your classmates are infectious little viruses. How do you not grow up fucked up after all this. Get your ass back to school. And now we're on to the teachers union. Listen here, fucks. You you get paid for, and don't get me wrong, I don't hate teachers. I hate teachers unions. And I hate the teachers who, and I hate teachers unions. I dislike the teachers that participate in the unions. Get your ass back to work. But it's too dangerous, Dutch, and I'm scared, and those kids are gonna get me COVID. You know what? The grocery store workers have been there since day one, and they don't make half what you do. That's it. There's a guy stocking a shelf at King Supers that has a more dangerous job than you do, that makes half of what you do, and his ass has been to work every day since this bullshit started. But you can't be bothered to go back to work because it's all about the children. No, it's not about the children. It's about you getting a paycheck for sitting at home on your ass, which is what you've been doing. Virtual teaching isn't hard. I promise you, I've talked to 3 teachers. It's not. It is a fucking joke. And you shouldn't be paid a dime to do it because it is a fucking joke. You get your ass back to work and you do it. If it's all about the kids, risk your goddamn life for them. Do it. Risk your life for those kids because you're so convinced that those little kids are going to give you COVID. You're going to take it home and you're going to wipe out your whole, oh, yeah, your family of one because you're a first year liberal right out of San Francisco University, the AOC College of I'm fucking stupid. Get your ass back to work. And then we got Fauci, who, this is all back into the education, who gets up there and he's no longer a medical advisor. He's actually an economist. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but he says that schools don't have enough money to open because they don't have proper ventilation. Blah blah. Fuck no! It is just the teachers' unions, the scumbag pieces of shit that are ruining. And this will work for them because they have ruined an entire year of children that are going to have to come back and back for education. So it's an endless cycle of fuck me's. But you can't honestly think that you're in danger with a bunch of children who literally can't get COVID. Like, if you're under 16, you don't get it. You just don't. But they're asymptomatic and it might kill me. Fine. Then retire. Don't fuck shit. Oh, no, wait. The actual facts say differently. You're not going to get sick from your second grade class. You're not going to get sick from your high school class. You know why? The current vaccine hasn't been approved for people under 16. I wonder why that is. They have different immunities, Dutch. You just don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I actually don't. But it just, I mean, what do you see? Fuck the teachers' unions. Oh, such pieces of shit. Lots of them are like, we want 14 days in the state of no positive COVID tests. That'll never happen. But what isn't being reported is, do you understand these people are making every dime dollar to their salary through this entire thing? Like, a lot of them haven't even taught online classes, but they're still making money. They're still being paid. But they're no, they're not. The teachers unions, bunch of scumbag piece. And if you're a teacher, and I have one on Twitter that I don't think she listens to this, but if she does, I would love to talk to her. I don't think she would, but I would love to talk to her. I'll work on that. Oh, speaking of people I want to talk to, all right, let's not get sidetracked. I would love to talk to her and get her opinions. And how long she was off for and still got paid. Because I'm sure she got paid through this entire pandemic. And not sure everybody else did. But with guest hosts, or not guest hosts, you will never have a guest host unless I'm dead. Shit, I'm looking at this camera stuff. I look terrible. Make sure I look drunk. Um, we'll get better. We're working on all this stuff, but you guys gotta subscribe, like, you gotta help us because I don't want to spend any money on this. I'll match your money. You guys put 100, I'll put 100. Put 1,000, I'll put 1,000. You put $1, I'll put 1,000 or $1, and we'll make this cool. We'll have like a stage, and you know, so we're I'm working on a guest who's Twitter famous in Colorado. He and I go back a little bit, but we're gonna talk about sports, and I'm gonna kind of like take his legs out from under him, and I'm going to jam some politics into sports because you can't get the fuck away from politics ever anymore. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I really hope he comes on. I think it'll be fun. Um, we go way back. I know him for personal all kinds of reasons, and I hope he comes on and I hope he shares. I'll work on the teacher too because that was a good idea that I just had now. But I hope I get the sports going because I would like to talk sports. It's just there's not a lot of sports going on, and the ones that are going on are mundane and I don't fucking care. Like the NBA, I'm done with. Those guys are fucks. Hockey, I still love, but the Avs were off for 2 weeks for bullshit COVID. They beat the Golden Knights last night, which is nice. They'll be in Tahoe to play. Um, the NFL can seriously fuck off. I have no interest in that anymore. But I do want to talk to this person about because he still loves the NFL, and I check in every once in a while. Baseball started, so we will talk a lot of baseball. It will solely be Cardinals and shitting on the Rockies. If anybody else wants to chime in, though, I'd love to talk your team with you. We don't have to use your name. You don't actually have to be on the video. It'd be great if you were, but if you don't want to, we can. But right now, just politics dominates so much of everything, sport, blah, everything. It's kind of what we're talking about. So, I mean, with the end of this, you guys know the drill. The social media at Dutch the Beast, at Dutch in Denver, in the letter, not the IN, unless you're on anything else. Twitter, Anchor, Apple, all those is Dutch in Denver with the I. But on Twitter, it's Dutch and no I. Like, subscribe, talk to me, reach out, do something. Let's interact. I think it'd be fun. I might yell at you. I might not. We could be best friends. We probably, if you're hot, we'd probably get married. Um, and I'll close this the way I started. I mean, Rush Limbaugh meant a lot to me. He meant a lot to a lot of people. And I'm sorry that he's dead, but I believe he's in heaven and he's at peace right now. And he's looking down, just waiting for somebody else. But rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh. Love you, brother.